Yeah, these aren't feminine to me. These keep me warm when I have to go outside and do shit. So I put these on. They're just a little bit uh, help from wind and skin erosion. You know, skin erosion. If you want to call it skin erosion, that's what you get if you don't wear stuff like long sleeves. You get skin erosion. I'm just chilling. I had a bunch of topics. I was going to write them down on a piece of paper. And I just said, fuck it. I don't want to start getting in the habit of fucking playing in my videos that much. So this is what I got. What is this? Oh, white fire. That's what this is. So I bought some white fire and it's really good. I don't know if my camera is good enough to pick up the crystals on that shit, but it is really nice. Really nice. And no one's in now, so I'll just continue to sit here and smoke. Meantime, I got some white fire. And I got this box arranged like this because this plant was outside and it was hard for me to pick that shit up without dropping it. So I had to get it in something so I could scoot it in and out. And now I got the plant set up in a way that's better. And I had to bring it in anyway because it was freezing out last night. And it snowed a little bit, just a teeny bit. So I was like, what I did was, I knew it was going to get cold. I thought I'll just leave it outside and put some stuff over it and put the heater in there, and the heat will go in there and keep it safe all night. And that's what I did. But today I had to bring it in. It's just got too cold. Smoking some whoa, fucking white fire here, man. Shit's killer. The buds are really full of crystals, sugary. You can't really break the bud up. It's like Dr. Green Thumb said, you can't break the bud up. It's not just from compression, that kind, it's from crystals. You don't want to, you can break it up, but there's enough leaf instead of crystals in there to make it hard to fucking break it up. So you literally have to put it through a grinder, as he said, but I don't have a grinder. So I'm just smoking it like out of my pipe, and I'm smoking this joint of whatever mix this is. Yeah, I think they give you a free mixed joint. I don't think it's the same as the white fire, but anyway, so yeah, I like my plants indoors now for now. I guess I'm going to have to keep it in here. I don't really have a topic. I just wanted to go live and smoke some weed and, yeah, have a little coffee. And my teeth are, believe it or not, my teeth are really clean, okay? Okay? Those teeth are really clean. I mean, my mouth, my entire mouth. I use two different kinds of mouthwash. I use the whitening kind, and then I use just a regular mouthwash. But yeah, I build up, I build up coffee stains because I drink coffee in the morning, afternoon, and night. And it also saves off hunger to drink coffee. So I try to drink as much coffee as I'm comfortable with, unless it's like really acidic or it has so much caffeine in it that even it starts making my palms sweat or something. And that doesn't usually happen to me. I would have to take a lot of caffeine. Even Rich Piana took more caffeine than me by a long shot. He did it for gym reasons, though. Hey, back up. And if Rich Piano was alive today, okay, let's just go into that. If Rich Piano was alive today, what would Rich Piano be? Man, he'd probably have a live stream going and he'd make Joe Rogan go bye-bye. I'm sorry, but if Rich Piano was still alive today, he'd have a fucking live stream fucking show. And he'd probably have by now, if he was still alive, probably 4 million subscribers. Yep, especially that show. I know he would have done it because he was getting ready to do something like that because he was outlandish and he would say things, didn't care, he cussed, and those kinds of people get attention. And if Rich Piano was alive today, Rich Piano, he would have been fucking, well, he left with only $5 million. So his Rich Piana died with only net value of $5 million. That was it. I was surprised. I thought he was going to have more than that, but no, the dude only had $5 million. But anyway, that's pretty good. $5 million. Shit, better than me. All right, so, but Rich Piana, if he was alive today, the motherfucker would have a goddamn live stream show, and he would and plus he'd be gigantic. Everybody'd be looking at that shit going, what the fuck is this, a talk show host and a bodybuilder? And yeah, I guarantee it. And it would be fucking popular. It'd probably go to 5 million, not 4 million. He'd probably have 5 million subscribers if Rich Piana was alive today, okay? And I can't imagine how much money he would, he might even get on a contract like Howard Stern. I mean, like seriously, but he didn't have the people skills that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure he hated people, Rich Piana. Yeah, he hated people. So, well, that's what he says. And he just does what he does because he still has to live, is what kind of his reasoning was. I still have to live, so, I don't like people, but hey, I'm like anyone else. I have to fucking make money. So that was Rich Piana. But if Rich Piana was live today, yeah, I'm pretty sure he had 5 million subscribers and a fucking live stream show. And, everybody would be going to watch him because he wouldn't ask for revenue from YouTube. If it was a YouTube or whatever venue it was. I mean, it depends. Because he'd make money just from other ways of marketing. I mean, he's a smart dude. I think just because he has a talk show, that wouldn't make him rich. If Rich Piana was alive today, it would be because he's a businessman and he wasn't stupid. He did take a lot of risk. He took a lot of chemicals for bodybuilding that could fucking impinge him. He did do that. Rich Piana did a lot of risk taking. He was more or less a stuntman of the bodybuilding scene, and he, in certain areas, was so big that even in my opinion, I think he looked better than some of the best bodybuilders in the world. And his aesthetics were never that great. So Rich Piana, if he was alive today, I think he'd have probably 5 million subscribers. Yep. And he'd have something going. I mean, his net value would have probably quadrupled in the 5 years he's been dead. But he was a cool guy. I liked Rich Piana. He was just a bodybuilder, but I mean, hey, bodybuilders are cool too. I mean, they work out and they're hard workers, and it's the kind of stuff, it's grueling. It's grueling work to be a bodybuilder. Man, it's fucking grueling. They're killing themselves by getting healthy in some ways, other ways not so healthy. They're doing the steroids probably, but the bottom line is he knew how to do it. He knew how to do it. He just made a mistake. He took his insulin, whatever, twice or whatever the fuck, and caused one of those hematopic states or whatever the fuck happened, and then he had a heart attack. But anyway, he was risk taker. He was a risk taker. I think risk takers are better than stupid people like Biden. Well, he took some risk to steal, to get votes, and probably there's going to be so much voter fraud that this is going to last a while. But in the meantime, the guy's not even close to interesting. Biden's not even close to interesting. There's not even any gain on a personality like that. You just look at him and you just watch him about maybe a couple seconds. You go, I'm out. I can't watch this motherfucker. And it's not because of what's been said about Biden. I just don't like the guy. I mean, from day one, just hearing him talk, boring motherfucker, straight up. No personality, almost like a fucking robot. Now we got that to deal with. If it goes through. And that motherfucker is such a goddamn robot of shit, and he's a bad one too. He's like a misfunctioning robot on top of it. Misfiring brain synapses and everything else. And then we got to deal with that? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. People are just, People just want to take over America, and they're voting for the worst president. If he turns out to win, there's people that are so sick in the mind like that. They're like want vengeance because all their family couldn't come over here because only they got here or something. They take vengeance that we don't change the rules for them in America. Now America is going to go back south, and you're going to have to watch out for another thing, America. You're going to have to watch on another thing. First of all, the COVID thing is actually, I figured it out as a warlock, okay? I figured it out as a warlock. It took me a while because there's other warlocks involved with other agendas and they can sideswipe and I'll not know what's going on, just like anything. But what's going on is this. There's, how should I say it? Don't leave, because I have this thought. They want to make sure that everyone takes command of an officer's command right away without question by saying, step back. What they're trying to say, really, and they're not trying to say, what they're trying not for you to find out is that they're actually going to program people to stay a distance away from police at all times so that you can't even come up to a police officer anymore. Get it? You can't even walk and approach a police officer without him being shocked that you're trying to do so. And this will cause a mindset of people to be afraid of everything, with a gun, of course, but also authority figures, because they're going to tell you, and they'll probably make it 20 feet in the future. It's like, no, you got to be 20 feet away. You know, you got to be 20 feet away. Sir, are you listening? Like that shit. Okay. So when that shit starts happening, man, all shit's going to break loose. And I guarantee that's what's going to happen now. And see, these people that voted Biden in, if he does end up becoming president, which is not, sufficient evidence to prove that it happened like that. But in the meantime, if we do, he's going to institute those control mechanisms, and everyone that speaks out, tries to express their freedom of speech, is going to get held accountable. Oh, we're doing a COVID gathering for people that have mandatory inoculations. You're on the list. Sir, come here. That kind of shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you, but you have to have your inoculation. Dudes, we're fucked. You guys made a big mistake. Now they're going to test you, basically force you to pay for it. And then who knows what's in that thing, that inoculation. Because they have nanotechnology, guys. You guys don't seem to understand that. All right. Move on. Another thing is, I talked about the other night some UFO stories, and I told you about one of the guy's dads who was a colonel that I found out like 24 years later he was a colonel, and that he studied nanotechnology, wind dynamics, liquid dynamics, electromagnetic thing, stuff, and who was a physicist. Okay, so that guy is very unusual that I just happened to run into, and his friend disappeared from that UFO sighting, and they disappeared. His whole family disappeared. And I said he got relocated. Well, that's probably, exactly what happened. Went down. They probably said, oh, all right, I think this is what happened, guys. I'm just going to explain. I didn't explain it in the last video. I'm going to explain it now. That particular sighting I was talking about, where I was threatened indirectly, but he was threatened directly, my friend who disappeared. I forgot to tell you guys this. My theory is this, that I'm going to lose my train of thought. God, I don't want to do this. Very important. I say this. Damn. It's very important that I say this properly, because if I don't, it's going to come off wrong. So what happened is, somehow or another, his son got a hold of the colonel's computer while he was gone. He somehow decrypted, or had decrypted information present in the computer at his house. And he went and spied on his dad's computer, looked at it, flipped out, and said, oh my God, there's going to be a UFO thing tonight. I knew there was something going on with my dad. So, because he probably knew a little about it. Maybe his dad was involved with that shit. So he knew where the place was going to be. He brought me out there under the condition we're just going to smoke a joint. In reality, he knew exactly what was going to go down. And that's what happened. Yeah. So I'm done with that topic. I just want to clarify that, because that shit bothered me for many years, and I did have a nervous breakdown. I thought I was going to die or something, or disappear. I did have a nervous breakdown, but it went away. I'm fearless now about shit like that. Totally fearless. PTSD, I throw it out the window and say, fuck you, like a faggot, get the fuck out of here, I don't deal with it well to be weak like that. to feel like I'm a threat. And so I do have a lot of self-esteem. I want to make that perfectly clear. I have a lot of self-esteem. It's internalized. It's foreign to you. That's what it is. It's foreign to you. But it's not foreign to me. I have a lot of self-esteem, and I gain it, from lots of mistakes like that. That's how anyone learns anyway. So you got to figure it goes with the territory, And I have seen a bunch of UFOs. Might as well go into a few more stories. I mean, I don't have no fucking piece of paper in front of me. I remember every single one. Another time, me and my brother were in Vegas, and we went up north to possibly, just go a little past the mountains towards Area 51, and we're just parked watching the Vegas, a little bit of light coming from Vegas, and the mountains around Vegas. And we were just looking there. It was nighttime, and there was this light just shows up behind the mountain. You could see the silhouette of the mountain like that, going down to the ground. And I said, whoa, it's behind Vegas or behind those mountains, just sitting there, whatever just appeared there. Is that somebody's house, do you think? I asked my brother, do you think there's anyone that possibly lives on that mountain? He goes, no. I think that's a UFO. I go, really? And I was looking at it, and all of a sudden it went doink like that. It just disappeared. It was really, it was inconsistent. It was consistent with a UFO sighting, but it's really not a lot of info. It just disappeared. That was it. So, but it kind of showed a trail when it did that upward. So you knew that was a fucking UFO. And I see them all the time. I'm very observant, and my brother and me, we were pretty good at spotting them too. Just like somebody that would go looking for hunting or something, that would go hunting looking for a deer. We were good at that shit. I can't say I saw more than 2 UFOs with my brother McKee. I don't even remember the other one. But when I was in St. Louis, we were at a party in back of some girl's house that we knew, and she was cool at the time. We were all cool with each other, and all of a sudden this light shows up, and it's going like this. It's going like this, but it's coming down arcing. It's doing that, but it's coming down arcing like this, and it was blinking, and it was definitely not a plane. And somebody said, oh, maybe it's a balloon. And I'm saying, dude, that thing's not just jumping around. It's bouncing all over the place, hundreds of feet back and forth like this as it's arcing down like that. So I said, that's not a plane, dude. That's a UFO. So I ended up going inside and calling the cops. And, of course, the cops give you a hard time. They don't really want to listen to UFO reports from you or nothing. They're just all about business, like 911 emergencies, whatever. So they're just like, shut up, I gotta go, no. But I was like, no, man, please, call the news, tell them this thing just came down, and, typical police, they just kind of blew it off, that's about it, and just made it seem like, okay, we'll check it out, kind of hang up phone call. I hate that shit. Anyway, that was pretty descriptive. It was just short. It was a short UFO sighting. It wasn't too long. It was maybe a minute, actually. It wasn't that short. It just took a while to do all that. And then when it came down, it looked like it went below the horizon. But it really, I think it came down. And so anyway, and it was blinking, and you knew that wasn't a plane. It had white light, and I think it had a colored light mixed in there. I couldn't really be too discernible about it because it was jumping between that little quadrant as it was coming down. It was staying within a confines like that. It was like it was trapped inside a bubble, a light bouncing around inside a plastic bubble. That's what it seemed like, and all the way to the ground. And you know what? That was not a firework. That was not a firework. Anyway, that was a UFO. I'm convinced that was a UFO. They probably come down a lot. Now, my theory is this, and I've come to this theory, it's just a theory, that the UFOs have, about 3 different kinds. They have the really smart ones, the ones that are half-assed and still can travel where the smart ones go, and then the ones that are like almost homeless. They live in our solar system. They're not allowed out. There may be criminal involvement there. They've broken loose of their AI control mechanisms or whatever that runs their fucking, whatever biology they have. And so they have to kind of like, they don't have the same resource that they used to have when they were involved with the higher intellectual aliens. They've been thrown out, they've been cut off, and they live around on our planet too. Now, their UFOs don't get that maintenance often. I mean, literally, you have to maintenance them, just like anything. And if the UFO is old and it has issues, it can come down. So if they don't get the help from other extraterrestrials to fix them, guess what? They're still going to come down. So I think they're always trying to hide a UFO that comes down. Because they do have a nice clip off of UFOs that fall down, but they cover them up. They cover them up. They don't want you to know that those things break down like cars on a road. Because if that was the case, you'd be always looking for UFOs. And then as soon as the military contingent came into your town and said, hey, no, can't come in here, then you'll know what's up. They have to pick that shit up. They can't leave you to go look at it. And of course, who is they? Well, they're probably the Space Force people who are like, hey, man, we got to clean up the material from these lowly extraterrestrials that drop shit off. Now, they're probably growing in space. They're humans like us, but they grow in space, and then they watch the other aliens coming and going and try to, the shitty ones, especially the homeless-like aliens. I just call them homeless aliens because they're broke. They don't have the resource. So they worry about that shit, because some of those UFOs can cause some major issues if they go down. So, but they're not in control of all those extraterrestrials because they've been cut off. So they're not really obligated. So there you go. That's why those UFOs. Now, does that mean that we're gonna see more wrecks in the future? Well, no, because look, I saw a UFO in Las Vegas that was big. It covered the sky, and it was there for 48 minutes. I got threatened by a jet flying over my apartment the next day. The bottom line is nobody reported that in the news. Nobody else saw it. There was no reports. And then when the Phoenix Lights came, yeah, but not when I saw it in Vegas. And I can't understand that. So the reason why that happened probably is because closer to Area 51, where there's a military installation, they probably got a lot more intel to try to screen out those kinds of interests in people by media and stuff, whatever kind of media comes out. So you don't want them to always run your show. So just remember this. If you see a UFO reported, it's that simple. Don't fucking, that's simple. Just don't fucking play, all right? And report it to whoever. Just tell everyone. Tell fucking everyone. Because look, what they did to Secure Team 10, he's no longer. And yeah, sure, you can say, oh, well, he was too, he would just show anything and just make anything up to go along with his story about UFOs and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but he did a pretty good job. He's pretty damn good at it. And now he's no longer because why? Somebody probably got say he probably released one video too many that was actually sensitive. Yeah, just think about it. We have a freedom to express ourselves on video, but what if you really do catch a picture of UFO? Will it get censored? Probably depends on what kind of picture you got of it, but most of the time they're under the obligation. They probably do provide like some subdimensional initiatives to make their UFO not present visually, and they would do that only so that you don't know they're traveling around, and they would probably get But when one of their UFOs does come down, you'll know it. Let's just put it that way. Now. So what I'm saying is they got a lot of old junk UFOs that those homeless ones use. And they got to try to fix them and make them to run. And it's a big problem for them because they're basically stranded on the planet unless they can get them working. So that's what I think's with that. And of course, they stay out of sight, out of mind as much as possible. And if they do abduct you, they got rules. Hey, just make sure this one's subjected on the linear time scale so he doesn't know what happened. Thank you. Shit like that. That's what they do. They just make sure he doesn't remember that one. Oh, make sure that guy remembers though. Make sure he remembers over on the right. Yeah, okay. That's what I think extraterrestrials do. They're like, yeah, because I want to do a study on how this goes down later on in their linear time. And, it's because to me, they're almost as good as gods, okay, because they can sit there and plan all the, it's kind of like a matrix, but it's planned and choreographed from every different angle. And those extraterrestrials enjoy it. That's what they do. It's kind of like landscapers have a fucking trade. They do the same, they have a trade. All right, I'm gonna get some more coffee. So I'm going to kick back for a split second. Yeah, man, I don't think it's that complicated, and people just don't want to admit any of this stuff because it's really not part of their agenda to try to figure all that shit out. It's not part of their agenda. So why are they even, if they even do decide to listen to me, they're like, I don't even know why I listen to that guy. Because their whole mindset has been grown up with go to church, love NBA basketball if possible, whether you're black or white or yellow or purple. Make sure you love basketball and gangster rap. And okay, do you want weed? Okay, I'm a Democrat. You're a liberal. I'll get you the weed. Just vote for Democrat. Be a liberal. Don't flip flop. In other words, stuff like that. It's like they're all choreographed to fucking act a certain way. It's like we're bred and kind of like subversively brainwashed to act a certain way, and they think, oh well, that's moral, character, and some science is good, some science is really awful. So you can't realize that if you believe all science is not awful. You're going to immediately just be on the side of science. And the way I look at it is the 3 Van Allen belts radiation are so vast, there is no way you can go through them in a particular way to avoid them. And that's a hoodwink right there. They're trying to say that they drove through the Van Allen belts without impingement as much as it would normally be. And it's like, no, that's not the case. You got helped around the Van Allen belts to go to the moon. So you could, you got an invite. And now they probably told you go to Mars next, don't come back here. That's what's up. Mars is the shit, though. The extraterrestrials don't care if we go there and see like petrified machinery that's been blown to pieces and stuff. They don't care. They're like, yeah, man, have at it. Just don't come here. This moon is a fucking space station. Okay, get it? That's what I think so. And it's also, it's also a corrector. Like if there's ever cataclysms on Earth, they can actually fix the Earth with the moon. So, like if there's cataclysms, they need rain, they can fucking adjust it so that it will cause clouds and shit right away, and then make fires go out and everything. It's a terraform planet. This is what this is. Now, if people were to ask, what do you really believe? Well, I'll tell you. I believe that, and I'm pretty sure this is the case, mankind is always being hoodwinked because there's always somebody ahead of the race that's winning the race, and they don't want you to have the same privy to that information as they do. And that's the way I feel about it. So it's kind of like a kid in his clubhouse. Man, you don't get to come in our clubhouse. We only got room for 4, okay? Kind of shit, but it's grown-up style, right? So I look at it like this. It's always going to be somebody trying to hoodwink you. So once you realize that, then you'll go, but then what direction is my life going to take? I don't even want to think about it because then I'll be fucking thinking about that shit all the time. Well, I would sooner than later because if something does change here, people aren't going to have a lot of options. They're just, they're not going to have any options. They're basically, stampede of cows. At the best, they can run. That's it. They can run. And look, I'm not saying that aliens are coming and stuff. It's more like we're being babysitted by a bunch of extraterrestrials and some human ones. That's about it. But they're only doing what came after it's been terraformed. It's like they're the ones at the main station keeping that fucking planet kind of operating more or less properly. If they need to clean it up and flood it and repopulate it, they'll do it. That's what I think they do, And of course, the linear time scales, the way they do it is you think linear time is passing like it is, but actually it's being changed all the time. And you don't even know it. They can even implant thoughts that made you think that you learned this in education when you did not. That's Tesla right there. That's Tesla right there. You'll sit there and go, hey man, how do I know this shit? Because you're like, what the fuck? How do I fucking know this shit? I didn't think of this shit. It's because it's been implanted into you directly. It's been installed into you. Of course, a lot of people will say that's impossible. That would mean education is useless. If they're giving us good information, that is. Well, yeah, but you don't use it because it's like, hey, I'm not going out on a limb and be a conspiracy theorist. No. You just have to come outside yourself to do that shit. That's a warlock. I gotta end this stream, guys. I just want to do a short stream. Peace.